The one that this guy go, oh, I want a sweet potato. And this guy, oh, can we have a kumaro? And the guy's like,
I did come right, and the guy looked at me
you have to say
like,
sweet potato. You have to say sweet potato.
Hey everyone, welcome back to What's in Your Kete. So good to have you here with us. Today we're hanging out with the awesome Toma siblings, Jenni, Grant and Grace, who along with their family of 11 packed their bags and headed off to Japan earlier this year. They've got some hilarious stories, a few surprises and a whole lot of good energy this year. Let's jump in and hear what they've brought back to put into their kete.
My name is Jennifer Toma. I am 41. I'm from Niue. And I'm here with my siblings.
My name's Grant Toma. I'm the youngest sibling as well, and from TMK Mutalo.
Hi, I'm Grace, also known as Wendy. I'm the second to youngest, fourth child. And my full name is Grace Mokawhenanga Nongitu Toma. And that's me.
Oh, we're lucky. Thank you so much for joining us this week on What's in Your Kete podcast. My name is Jane and I'm the host for tonight. And we thank you so much for joining us. And tonight we're looking at unpacking your story around your trip to Japan recently. So I guess, Grant, starting with you, I heard it was your birthday. And so you selected Japan as the location for the birthday celebrations. Can you tell us a little bit about the planning that went behind getting everyone together? And
it started with me and my partner. Because we were turning 30, we wanted to go somewhere different in the islands. So the original destinations we had were the States and Japan. But at the end, we ended up choosing Japan just because we wanted a different culture from where we originally are from. But at first, it was just me and her. Then we asked my sister Jen and her brother Swal. So that was the first four and my son. And then after we got our five together, we asked a few others if they wanted to come. And then we had four more join about 2 months later. And then we had two join literally a month before, I think. So, just before we left. So in total, there was 11 of us.
wow. Can I also ask Jen to you and actually Grace as well, if there was one word for the trip, what would you choose? What would you have said about the trip?
We were tired. We came back so tired and worn out. We were up all day. We were up early morning, back late night. But it was all worth it, and we would so do it again. So it was fun. It was fun. It was chill. We had the right crowd. And it all just flowed. We went first. So we went, the lead up to it was a little bit hectic. So, we had work. I was a bit sick. We had Christmas. Islanders do Christmas big. But our auntie, one of our close aunties, was quite ill, and she passed away the Friday before we flew out. And she's very close to my dad. So then we had that. So our first thing that we did on our flight out was to go and say goodbye to her, because we knew. So me and my brother here, we left first. Well, we were the first group to leave. We went to go and say goodbye to her first. And then we were at the airport. But because it was so kind of hectic, when we jumped on the plane, it was just like we made it where we're actually going. So when we got there, it wasn't until we got on the plane where we're actually on holiday now. So it was nice to just get away and do random stuff. We're very YOLO, we'll go with the flow. We have a plan, but we don't have a plan.
I love it.
That's why we work so well.
Yeah.
So there's the whole, we had an itinerary kind of thing, but it was literally just, are there places you want to see, chuck it in, and we'll throw it in and see if we can make it. If we make it, we make it. If we don't, we don't. But it was the whole trip was just, it was good. It was good people. Yes, there were 11 of us, but it was you were still able to have your space, but we enjoy each other's company, which is the biggest thing. Like when it came down to the planning, we didn't want to go and stay in hotels where it could only fit like 2 or 3 people in a room. Because one of our biggest things is we like to come back together either in the beginning of the day or the end of the day, and sit at the table and just catch up and share food and steal food, and like just see how everybody is and just have a good laugh before we go and carry on and stuff like that. So that was one of the biggest pulls for our accommodation, was finding places that could fit the whole lot of us
comfortably.
Oh yeah, and comfortably.
And didn't have futon.
I think these guys went 3 weeks.
But yeah, we left on a Sunday before New Year, so
29th.
Yeah, but the first group had 5, and we went for about a total of 3, just over 3 weeks. And then the rest of them followed maybe 5 days after us, so they were just over 2 weeks.
Wow. Sorry, I'm going to take us back a little bit. So in terms of packing, how do you pack to go to Japan knowing that you're going in the middle of winter or in the colder season? Yeah, and like, and as you
pack way too much. Like, I think I only used like a quarter of what I took.
What did you pack, Grant? What did you pack?
I packed like 10 t-shirts, jumpers, 10 shorts, didn't even wear all of them. So it was kind of a wasting. I left most of the stuff there.
Like we knew it was going to be cold. Yeah, so we and they're like, it's going to snow and all that kind of stuff. So we had the big jackets and the hoodies and stuff. But one of the things that we didn't account for was when we booked our accommodations, and we didn't check what their washing machine and their dryers were like. There's 11 of us, and so every time we showered, it was just closed straight into the washing machine, and then they'll be ready for the next day. So that was our.
So we just overpacked, and I think lesson learned: you don't need to overpack, even if it's winter. I think it was also because there was an assumption of Japan, clothing is small. So we were worried that if we didn't take enough clothing, we might not find anything we can wear. And then we got there, and they had all the 4XLs and the.
Oh wow! So they do larger sizing. I've not been to Japan or Asia myself, and they. Oh wow! Because the rumors I hear from all my friends that have traveled through to Asia or who live there, they're like, make sure you have your own clothes, that you come prepared, because you cannot purchase anything. I'm like, okay. So wow, you're the first to tell me.
We got told
the same thing.
And then we were like, and was it ABC store? It was like a sports store, and it was just like 2XL, 3XL section, and we're like, oh, we could have just bought some stuff there, because it was cheap there to buy. So yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. Writing that down.
The bad thing about the sizing over there is the women's shoes only go up to size 9. But we didn't know
that. So what shoes? What shoe size were we looking for?
Big feet in the foot.
And did you pack any snacks? What did you also, as well as these overpacked suitcases, did you pack your snacks? Were there any things you brought from home?
No, we made sure we had water bottles because we're healthy. We only took water bottles, and the only other things that we took was just stuff to eat on the plane. That was it.
Okay, so what were the first impressions of?
I think on the way there was, I think we didn't take enough snacks.
Yeah,
because we didn't count for the hours. We just assumed the food on the plane would be enough. And then we were watching other people bring out their snacks. We're like, damn, we should have done that. So
the flight. I mean, like we had layover flights. So our flights were over 24 hours. It was a long flight to get there.
Yeah, but it took us 36 hours for the first group to actually get to Japan.
Whoa.
But we had the option of flying direct. But then when we saw where the layovers were, we were like, how often do you get to go to Hong Kong? And then the others came through Korea, and then there was one group that came through Taiwan. And we're like, how often do you get to go?
Might as well go on an adventure.
Yeah.
Instead of just going direct.
Maybe step foot in that country.
Oh wow, yes. So please tell me, what were your first impressions of Japan for each of you?
So our layover. So we had heard all the stories. Our first layover was in Hong Kong, and there we couldn't go out of the airport because vapes are illegal in Hong Kong. So we weren't throwing those away.
Yeah.
But their airport is so nice, and I talk about it all the time. But it's such a flash, and it set the tone for the whole holiday. And we went and slept on the floor. We slept on the floor in the airport, like comfortably, and that was our expectation. But when we hopped out of the plane in Japan, we were a little bit like underwhelmed, just a little bit.
Oh, wow.
So when we saw the other pictures, they had like really cool pictures where they got off. I don't know where we got off.
Yeah, because they landed in Haneda.
Oh,
We landed in Narita.
Yeah, we were in a different airport.
But our airport kind of looked like
Niue Airport.
the Niue airport. That's what it looked like.
What a sad.
And like the Hong Kong airport was a 10, and then you jump out of Japan and I was like, wait, no, this is not.
Yeah.
This is not the same vibe I got. So that level came down a little bit. And then when we got out into the main crowd, it was just busy, and we weren't prepared for that busy, and it was just like it was that we're not used to that big busy. So you see, the Auckland airport busy, it's nowhere compared to that. And then it's like, oh, let's just go in the lift, but we have to wait for like three lifts to just go down one level because it's so busy. And then we get down, and then there's a train station at the bottom, and you got to hop on that train to get to where we want to go. And then that's all busy. And we're just like, where do we go? What do we do? And then we just had to kind of stop for a bit. And then, but at the same time, I was like, guys, we made it. We're here.
All right.
Here in Japan,
Grace, when you landed, so what was your first take of Japan since you arrived after these guys?
We were grateful when we hopped on the plane. We were excited because compared to our layover in Korea, we were just like, just get us to Japan, because our layover was terrible. It was very terrible.
What happened in Korea?
We were the only group. Because it was 4 of us our layover was in Korea, and before we left, we had I have a colleague that is Korean, and she was like, yeah, everything's open, nothing closes. And the difference with our layover, we actually had to go to another airport to catch our second flight. And yeah, everything, when we landed, it was nighttime. It was I think it was going on tonight when we got all our stuff, and then we went to the next airport, finding out that it closed at 11:30. So our backup plan was just to hang out at the airport and go around to the city. But then we got told it's going to close up because it was dark when we got there. We were just like, oh, what's going on? And then we quickly got changed because the flight there, I was just sweating the whole time. Because on top of that, I didn't know that the window in Air New Zealand flight, there's a button, because you know how the Air New Zealand, they used to have the window where you pull down? It didn't have that. So I just assumed that the window stays bright. And we had the sun on us for like how many hours, only to find out half an hour before the flight landed that you press the button for the window to go dark. And so I was sweating the whole time. And then when we got to Korea, in fact, and when we went to the next airport, and then we went outside, it was freezing. It was -2, only to find out everything was closing. And so we went into panic mode. And then we had to find a taxi to take us after 12. We were just going back and forth. And then we ended up at a Macca's to wait for the airport to open. And so the whole layover thing, we just couldn't wait to get to Japan. And when we did get to Japan, we were at a different airport, and it was nice. We came out, it was nice and tidy, it was flash, and that was our first experience when we went to the bathroom straight away with the bidets, the famous bidets to wash your bum. Yeah, it's completely closed. And there's this competition that they have there. It's toilets on the ground. It's not. It's normal toilets. It's actually flash toilets. Because they were like, I had my cousin message going, oh, have you been going to the toilet on the floor? I was like, no, it's normal toilets. But it's actually, it's much more flasher. They had the bidet, and they had like the flash buttons on the side. And if you don't want anyone to hear you there's like music you can play.
There's music you can play.
So we had a good experience when we came off the airport, and I don't know, I don't think we noticed how busy the airport was because we were kind of focused on getting to our meeting spot with these guys. So when we came off, it was just, okay, we need to follow the arrow, go here and go there, and then, but we were pretty cruisy getting to our spot. It was we liked it. We loved it. Like, as soon as we were on the train to go find these guys, we were just like, wow, look at the city, wow. And then, yeah. And then we ate because we were hungry.
Well, what was the first meal? Grant, what was your first meal in Japan?
What did we have? What was our first meal? Well, we got there late. We ate. Where we stayed was the Airbnb. And right underneath was a Chinese restaurant. Yeah,
you went to Japan?
Yeah, like right underneath.
To go to Japan. So I just want you to repeat that back.
I was trying to support the locals.
Like, it was literally like just one flight. Like, it was 10 steps.
Yeah, it was 10
it was 10 steps.
But that's when I realized how cheap Japan is. Because we got the whole sweet and sour fried rice. We got 7 dishes. And it was only $40 New Zealand after you convert it.
Wow.
That was a lot of food.
There was only 4 of us.
Yeah, there was only 4 of us.
4 of us on the table. No, yeah, because one of us went to sleep. So there was only 4 of us at that table. We ordered 7, and they were huge dishes.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh my God, it's only $40.
Yeah, that was the crazy thing, how cheap it was. But that was the first food we had. So I went to Japan and I had Chinese food first.
In our defense, it was literally because it was late. So it was like the only place that was open.
But then we went to the 7-Eleven, and then we were trying to find, the chicken sandwich. The egg sandwich with the chicken.
Yeah.
But at the time,
they didn't have a lot of that stuff out
that stuff
yet.
wasn't out.
Wait, what was the other store? It was 7-Eleven and the Family Mart.
Family Mart.
We listen and we do not judge.
No, I think people are gonna listen and judge.
Like, wow. He's a big fries person.
Yeah, they had fries.
They had fries.
That's why
they had fries.
All right, Grace, what was your first meal when you arrived?
I think it was it the 7-Eleven when we saw you guys?
Yeah.
It was not the 7-Eleven, it was a convenience store.
Oh, it was the first meal I got excited about. It was it like it was a microwave roast scallop dish or sushi. I don't know, but it was yum. It was so good. I wanted to go back and get some more. It was that and the famous, fried chicken, but there was no
Egg sandwich.
There was no egg sandwich, but yeah, literally it was that with the. I think we were just snacking because I was tired. Because we were underneath a subway.
So
They were just hungry.
So their first big meal. So that's when all our 3 groups came together. They were all excited. We got to our first accommodation together, and then under there was an
Indian restaurant. So that actually would be my actual purpose. It's not what I thought it was underneath.
Hey, we're trying to support the local spots and they keep putting Chinese there, Indian there.
It was, what do you call it? Indo-Indian. We only went there because it was at the bottom of our Airbnb building.
And, we felt bad for our travelers.
We were tired.
They were tired.
Us 5 were like, oh, look, it's been 5 days. We're locals now. We'll show But these guys were falling asleep because they were, we'll just go to the easy spot.
Can I ask?
It's funny, they went to the restaurant, they speak Japanese fluently.
Yeah.
Were there any Japanese vending machines local for you to access?
The first thing when we came out, literally out of the exit, my son straight away, the first vending
Vending
machine.
machine.
And then 5 meters, the next vending machine. Another 10 meters, he stopped at every vending machine.
There's a vending machine in pretty much at every corner. The only stink thing was wherever we went, it was mostly drinks.
Mostly drinks.
So yes, our group tried every drink and every vending machine.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until our last day when we were trying to rush to the airport that we saw a different vending machine
that
had like
hot
food.
Yeah, like chicken and fries. We're like, there it is, it's right there. But
because it was ice cream. Because it was always ice cream and drink machines and dessert machines that we kept going past.
No, so after the Chinese and Indian, it was 7-Eleven.
Yeah, it was
7-Eleven like how many times?
And Family Mart.
Well, I wanted to go to the local spot, but no one was keen to go. No one wanted the actual.
Because the stuff that you got at 7-Eleven and Family Mart was really exciting. They had heaps of cool stuff in there.
And I was stuck on 7-Eleven that
I was just like,
yeah. These guys came. They came 4 days after us. And then their first night, they had more snacks than we had tried in the 4 days that we were there.
We were trying all the snacks.
So then me and Grant were having a chat, and we were like, I feel like we need to catch up to these guys.
So we had to force ourselves to try snacks. Because these guys, they bought so much and we hadn't even tried that much.
Because come on, man, condensed cream bun.
There was so much stuff we bought. We're like, what is that?
We were just, I remember that we turned up and you guys were like, we haven't even been trying all the snacks.
I was like, I haven't even tried the stuff you got. How are you eating that all in one night? And I haven't even tried that in the 4 days that we were here.
I think every day it was like, there was not ever a day where we didn't visit 7-Eleven or Family Mart.
Yeah.
Well, I was excited when they came because I wanted to show off about the sweet potato. The sweet potato that we had from the 7-Eleven. The one that this guy go, oh, I want a sweet potato. And this guy, oh, can we have a kumaro? And the guy's like,
and we're like, I did kumaro.
Okay,
and the guy looked at me
you have
like,
to say sweet potato. You have to say sweet potato.
Say kumaro. Did you go Kamara?
Okay, what was the weirdest food, or was there something that shocked you when you tasted it while you were there, that you ate? Maybe this was directed at you.
It was the what do they call it?
The sea urchin.
Sea urchin. I was excited as for the sea urchin because you see them just eating it like nothing. But when
when we say sea urchin, are you meaning kina?
Yeah, kina. So I was asking for kina about a sea urchin over there, but it didn't taste. It tasted dirty. Like it didn't taste the way it tastes here, like that nice fat creamy taste that you get from a kina.
Yeah,
it didn't have that taste. So that was my weird one.
Okay, and what was the cost of that? Was that an expensive dish?
Nah.
Okay, so that was an all-you-can-eat seafood, seafood sushi buffet kind of thing.
Man, you make it look best. First the Chinese, Indian.
That's right. It was all-you-can-eat.
Oh no, cool. I'm just interested with that.
I think I went to
Sorry, what did you say?
That was probably the only weird thing that I had. I had high expectations, but it didn't hit.
Were there any food fails?
Was
sushi.
What's that?
Were there any food fails? Were there things that you'd seen online before you'd left that you wanted to taste and thought they'd be good, but was not?
I think it was a lot of when we went through the street food, you know how you go, so there's a lot of eateries and a lot of the same kind of foods. People were lining up for some of the things that we were like, oh, okay, we'll get excited and line up. I think some of those weren't as exciting as it was.
It tasted like the night market.
It tasted like night market, so, you know. Which is authentic. So we're all like,
are we
done there?
Oh, so we know the night market, the authentic.
The West? Are we talking the Westgate night market or Southside?
The Henderson.
The Henderson one.
I think we were just, we thought I don't know. I think with that takia thing, I think because it's quite popular and there's so many different versions. So we were really excited, and when we finally got to taste it, I was like, oh, okay, so
It's same.
It's same. So
I think the most, I don't know, deluxe thing we had over there was the Kobe beef. And they were just selling skewers on the, on
That was
like the things
crazy.
like those. We stood there for ages. Go, can we have another? Can we have another? Like that was something that we didn't expect. That was good.
because it's like wagyu is what everyone says. Oh yeah, when you get there, wagyu's the best. But it's Kobe beef. I don't know which title to call it. But yeah, apparently Kobe beef is like top beef over there.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. All right, moving away from food now, guys. What was your most favorite place to visit?
Mine was Kyoto, only because we stayed in Osaka and then we spent the day in Kyoto. So we caught the train. We went down because it snowed. So all our pictures looked really, really cool because we're at the shrine. That was the day that we went and visited majority of the shrines. And it just happened to snow, and it didn't do just like little snow, like it snowed where we went and bought an umbrella
Oh wow!
to protect our hair.
Yeah, we're going after.
But it was but that was cool. I think that was our prettiest. Well, that and when all our groups came together, because it was a big like
Yeah.
we're here. So those two.
I don't know. I think I like Kyoto, but I didn't realize there was more than one shrine.
It is so many shrines.
Okay, I wasn't prepared for a whole day of walking here.
I think when we got to the last shrine, we were
The first one, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then these guys go, oh, we're going to the next shrine. I was like, what? There's another one? And it wasn't just next door. We had to walk even more. I was like, oh, okay.
And then the last one, I think we were like, okay, are we done? Are we done with the shrines?
I don't know.
Can we go eat now?
I think my favorite was the theme park trip. It was Universal Studios and Disneyland, because it was like dreamlike, like all the stuff that you grow up with and you see on TV, especially Disneyland. It was like, how do you say it, nostalgic, because it was just like everything you learn as a child all there. Like we were like more excited than our 20s. The ones in our 20s. We were running around like, oh my god, this is so much fun. And like Nintendo World, that was so cool, because it was just like wow. Like that for me was my highlight of theme parks. And Harry Potter Universal.
Harry Potter World.
Harry Potter was amazing, despite, because we did have a bit of an issue, but Harry Potter Studios was amazing as well, especially if you follow the movies, because it had everything. It had everything from the sets from the movies, and it was just like really buzzy seeing everything.
It's a 4-hour long.
That's the only thing I wasn't
counting. Tour.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Can we please explain?
The tour.
Yeah, what's the 4-hour thing?
You hop on the train and you literally get off right at the end.
Yeah.
A platform
3 and 4 quarters. But you go to this, like, you start off where they explain everything in the beginning, and then you go to this room where you watch this whole like a little short film, and then it just goes up and it just starts you from, what's it called,
from the main hall where they eat. Where they then it takes you through to like all the houses, the rooms,
like the moving stairs.
Oh, the moving stairs.
That was cool. Like they had that in there.
Yeah,
because I don't think it only opened last year.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people that we asked for advice, they had never been there. I got to see half of the place.
So when we talk about excitement, so us oldies, we're very excited because we know Harry Potter. We know, we're like, oh my god! Now our young ones, especially our baby. We only had one baby, our little 12-year-old.
He was getting tired.
He was done. He was like, why is he even excited?
Because everything we looked at, because you go halfway and that's where the cafe is, and they say this is where you have your butterbeer, the famous Harry Potter butterbeer. And then when we got to the middle, they said, okay, you got 2 more hours to go. We were kind of tired. We were like, okay, this is exciting, but this is a lot of walking around. Like, we finally got to the train after, 3 hours?
Yeah.
3 hours, we finally got to the platform, the train, and we're like, yeah.
Taking our pictures, being fans. But, you know, some of them just weren't. Yeah, and then they were just like, we got to go. So, you know, part of that trip, we did, you know, make them sit down in front of Netflix and watch Harry Potter and appreciate our fandom.
Okay, let's hear you. Okay, Grant. Grant, please speak up. Please tell me your experience now. I hear that the girls were in Harry Potter land.
I don't know if I can speak about it. Nah, it was only... Oh, well, me and my son had a thing there because of the way, you know, it was getting a little bit... It was acting a little bit... But after that situation happened, he was fine the whole trip. It was a little bit of conflict, and then he was back.
Oh, well, what was your son's highlight of being at Disneyland and at the theme parks? What do you think he enjoyed the most? For anyone listening that does have smaller children that are planning to go and visit.
He wasn't really interested in, you know, Disneyland and stuff because there was more, you know, our age, like from back in our era when we were watching those Disney movies. So he wasn't too excited for them. It was more the rides he was excited. It was one of the tours that we did. It was called the JDM car tours.
Yeah.
It was basically like, you know, the Tokyo Drift scene where they're speeding and stuff like that. That was his highlight, seeing all the cars and stuff like that.
Cool. That's very, very cool. So I know, Grace, you and I talked about the trip before we kicked off the podcast. Now, you mentioned that you went to before going, you know, as you prepared to go on this trip, that you'd been to Kmart and there were a couple of things that you took with you in particular. And I'm quite interested for you to share with everyone your hack with this little chair thing that you bought from Kmart. Foldable chair.
Oh, the store.
That's the best purchase ever. That's probably there was 2 good pieces of advice that we got given before we left. One was use your Wise card, which was the money thing. And 2 was take the collapsible chair. And we all took one. They were like, what, $20-25?
Yeah, it was only about $20.
Yeah.
$20 from Kmart.
And they fit in my backpack like my school bag. And they're light.
And you can carry it like a bag.
And you carry it like a bag, but it literally, like, there's always, like, there's so many people that you're going to be in lines. But, and for us smokers, you know, there's no chairs there and stuff like that. But we could just pull it out in any spot, in a line, just wherever. If we were, you know, we're a group of 11, so there's not many tables for us. So we'd just pull them out on the street, sit down and eat.
The train. The airport.
I think it got to the point where it wasn't useful and we were just showing off that we had them.
Yeah. Oh, and we used them at the theme parks when we had to go super early because you kind of standing there for a good couple of hours.
Yeah.
But it was the best thing ever.
So you took them out every day?
You need a restroom.
So for all your trip, you had them with you every day?
Yeah. Because it's a light.
Yeah.
It can hold us, we'll all range from 100 to 140, 50 kgs, and it was holding all of us fine. In case someone wants to buy it.
I think it was also because there's not many, like, chairs to sit on. Like, there's not, you know how there's, like I don't know, like, chairs at the park and stuff?
You'd have to find a park. And then the park would only have, like, maybe some places where you could sit. Yeah. But, like, if you're, like just going out to a 7-Eleven and you just want to eat outside, then you could just pop out your chair and sit down. But, and even, like, on the day we went to, go and visit all the shrines, like, sometimes you just need to rest your feet. So, yeah.
Cool.
I think it's because everywhere you go, there's a long walk. So you need the chair to sit down. Because even, I think we used it a bit in Harry Potter, even at Disneyland, Universal. And we got a lot of comments from a lot of people going, wow, that's a good idea. And we're like, yep, lifesaver. And so, yeah, they would be like the best thing to pack and take.
Is there one thing that you wish you knew before you were going for each of you three?
I wish I knew not to take cash. Because I did take some cash, but the exchange rate, switching cash is very low. That's probably the one thing I regret.
Yeah, it was easier to do. I think we were pretty well informed. Like, we asked. There was quite a few of our family that had gone over. And so we were just like, oh, what did you take? And there were people from work that had gone over not long before us. I mean, it was just like, oh, use the Wise card. A lot of the stuff that we got told didn't really, because they were, we're naturally loud people. They're like, you gotta lower your voice.
Dramatized.
Yeah. They're like, you can't eat while you walk in the street. You can't do this. You can't do that. But yeah, all of that stuff we got told kind of just went out the door like 2 days. And like, we were very, like, when we first got there, we were kind of
worried about the rules.
Yeah. So we were definitely not yelling out at people and
trying to keep our laughs down.
And then we saw that everybody else was doing it, so it's fine. So if anything, it's just that that normal common courtesy thing, if you're walking around with food, don't drop it on the ground and stuff like that. Be careful of people coming towards you and behind you and stuff like that. But yeah, nothing big, eh?
No.
So what did this trip teach you about travelling as a Polynesian group or as Polynesians full stop?
Because of the group size, they were a stressful time. But it was way more good than bad.
Mm.
And like, it was so worth it going in a big group.
And planning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, going in a big group, you keep getting asked to take photos from randoms. Just because we got big numbers.
So they'll like jump in our photos.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Take photos with us.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, we had like Russian tourists asking to take photos, to jump in with us. Just because we had 11 of us. It's not usual to travel in big groups.
And because we're big people.
Yeah.
All right, so if you guys go back to Japan, later on this year, let's say, what would you do differently? Or would you do anything differently, rather?
Well, I think this trip was a lot of, what did you see on TikTok? What do you want to go and do? So it was a very kind of like touristy kind of trip. Go and see all the big highlights and stuff. So I think if we went again, it's more food-based
culture.
The culture stuff. I think because like we had food, but we'd leave early in the morning and come back late, so we missed out on a lot of places that we could try.
Yeah, it's definitely the food. We want to go back. I think we're planning to go back this year for a couple of weeks. Literally just for the food.
Not Chinese
Not
food.
Chinese or Indian food.
But to try more
Japanese.
Yeah, focus more on the food.
That sounds very, very cool. All right, and I've got a quick rapid fire round of questions for you. I know we've already gone over them, but I'm going to ask them again. What was the worst thing you ate while you were there?
Oh, I think the strawberry cream sandwich. I didn't like that. It was weird. Everyone else in the group liked it, but I found that weird.
Anything for you?
I think for me it was the French fries. They're nothing like here, if that makes sense. But only once you eat the French fries, how you don't love the French fries.
All right, and so in Grant staying with you, what was the funniest Japanese phrase that you learned while there?
No, but you do pick up habits, so then you end up doing the bow like to everything. Good morning. Oh, good morning, Belle. Like, you just pick up these little habits. But yeah, I don't think the language wasn't a big barrier for us. So we used English quite a bit. I think where we were quite big tourist areas, so we didn't pick up a lot of the language there.
Okay. What about traversing the airport on the way back? Like, Grace, for you, did you find yourself like sumimasen, or sort of bowing all the time for everyone or anything and everything?
Yeah. But you know what's funny? I couldn't say it. I don't know how to, so I still know how to say it. So, you know how you say it? Is it arigato?
Arigato.
What's the second part? I said like, arigato or something. Yeah, I could never say it because it kind of twisted my mouth, like not mouth, but tongue twister for me, and I felt kind of like I was insulting them when I was good. Arigato. But then I'll try to pull the second part so that it sounds like I knew it, but that was the one phrase that I struggled with because I couldn't say it properly. And also remembering that hi means yes in
Hi.
Japan, so I had to stop saying hi to everyone that I walk past. So I'd be like hello or hi, and then they'd be like hi. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it was the height and the bow.
Yeah. But yeah, I said arigato everywhere we went.
Did anyone stay in one of the budget capsule hotels, motels?
Nah, we saw the options. Like they were the cheapest to stay in.
Yeah.
But there was no way we were gonna fit in those.
It came out so many times. I was like,
Yeah.
come on, guys, one night. Let's just go experience one night.
And we did Airbnb, but it was a lot of pre-discussion of Airbnb, like because we had to take everybody's comfortability into place. Like, you know, there's 11 of us. Some of us are quite big, so we had to consider, you know, the beds to make sure that they're sturdy and comfortable for everybody. We also had to consider the bathrooms. You're like, you know, making sure it was available. Making sure the size. So we had to go off the dimensions, I guess, of the instructions or the list. How do you say it when we would read the Airbnb descriptions?
Yeah, so we just looked at like the facilities they had. We also considered, so we didn't want to be smack in the city, but we wanted to be close enough because we knew that we didn't have we didn't have cars, or we weren't going to hire any cars. So we knew that we were going to do a lot of walking.
Just train sites.
Or or training. So we made sure it was close to train stations and close, like in walking distance to, like a lot of places that we wanted to go visit.
And, you know, I kept saying, oh, yeah, 10, 15 minutes is fine from the train station. It wasn't in the end for me because I felt like it was a long walk. But, yeah, I think considering the places we went to, it was a lot of making sure that everybody was in agreement, everybody had a space, and that we made sure it was close to where we wanted to go. So I would say if you're going in a big group, it's best to use Airbnb. Yeah.
But make sure you don't
and go off reviews.
Check the actual beds, because a lot of them that's why we struggled to find, because they would say 12 beds, but it was only
like six beds and 6 futons.
6 futons. But we found out futons are basically like a blanket.
Depends on who your person is, whether they give a nice mat or a thick.
Yeah.
Oh yes. So did you experience the futon, like the very thin futon? Yeah. Did you?
Nah.
We comfortable beds. We had really good beds.
We actually weren't minding it. Like I was saying, I don't mind sleeping on it. But our cousin that went like a month before us, we saw her video with the futons, and they were literally on the floor. So I was like, oh, nah. Yeah, beds it is.
So the futon experience went out the door.
Yeah.
Right.
I think in the end I was like, no, I don't care, because we were taking a bit long deciding. But I think the Airbnb and just making sure that you check the reviews, you check, I guess, the star rating of the person. And also we had vapors and smokers, so we also had to look at those rules.
Like it took a long time to find places that
would accept it.
They accommodated all of us.
I'm not a vapor or a smoker, but for anyone that is and planning to go to Japan, what are the rules or the parameters around vaping or smoking in public?
So vaping and smoking is treated the same, and you can't just smoke or vape wherever you want. They have little areas, so they have designated areas. They have a map, so you can actually download the app.
Yeah, there's a set
which will show you where all the smoking places, and then it's restaurants, it's cafes, and all those places, the malls. They have a space all that. And like, I'm a smoker, he's a vapor, but you appreciate it. It keeps it tidy. I mean, you'll always have those city side streets, that you'll sneak down and go and hang out. You always look for the local that's, who's tough enough to go and smoke on themselves. But it's not bad. They're everywhere. They just contain it. That's it.
Most accommodations said no smoking at all, but I think it's because people smoke inside. So when we asked if we can smoke outside, they were fine. We were fine to smoke outside our place.
Yeah, all three of them, man.
Or
affordable, very, very affordable.
Shoes. I think that's probably what everybody came back with the most. The shoes were just way cheap. Everything else was kind of same.
But the food, the convenience store food, or even like fast food.
Yeah.
Fast food was so cheap.
And alcohol. Even though we didn't drink, alcohol was really cheap over there.
Like,
I think it's expensive getting there, but once you're in Japan, it's cheap. Like we, the amount of money that we took to spend, we were only hitting like half by the end. The only place that is expensive is Osaka, though.
Yeah, that place is pricey.
That place is pricey, just because of the
tourism.
The tourism there, I think.
What would you advise someone visiting? What sort of budget would you advise someone visiting to, prepare for, to take over spending money?
Well, like for what me personally, like, I like to order as much as I can. I won't eat all of it. I will only eat some of it, but I like my options, and I usually spend quite a bit on food. But over there, I would say like 10,000 won, yen, is like $100 here, and you would only need 200, 250 a week, and that's if you're I'll say 250 to 300 and that's like getting a lot of food. If you know the right places, it's really cheap to eat. Like meals are only $5, and that's like even the local.
The train rides are cheap. All that kind of stuff is cheap. But it just depends. If you're going for shopping, the shoes are cheap, but like the clothes and the bags and all those kind of things, those are normal prices.
Yeah.
If you're going to the theme parks, it's like a theme park. It's like Rainbow's End here. You're going to spend a bit. But if you're just going to just go and just chill out for like a week, I think $500 while you're there.
It's comfortable.
A
week. Yeah.
What else is cheap in Japan?
I think we all budgeted like around $2,000, but that was
literally just for food.
Yeah. That was for food, for shopping, and for what we were bringing back.
Yeah, because most of us don't shop. We're
not big shoppers.
We're not big shoppers, so it was mainly food and the stuff we were bringing back.
Yeah, I think we brought back a whole lot more than what I ate there.
For other people, yeah.
But accommodation is cheap. 500 is more than comfortable for one person. For one, I'm talking about islanders. It would be a lot. It would be a lot cheaper for anyone that's quite small as well.
That's really, I'm really inspired hearing this personally, and I must say, I'm also really biased and knowing more about this trip because I would love to travel there, and I wanted to hear all about it, and also to make this to see if this was accessible. How do we make this more accessible for people that are interested in traveling? And man, you've just been ringing bells for me. I'm like, cool, I can afford to go. That sounds good. So I didn't realize that it would be affordable. Plane tickets.
I think if you want to do the whole Disneyland and stuff, that's where your other like high costs. But you kind of do that. We kind of did that throughout the year. We
paid off all of our the places that we went to, like the theme parks, the big things that we wanted to see. We paid off. We purchased those throughout the year.
Yeah, you have to get it.
Early.
That's one thing that you have to remember is that it's not like going to the islands where you can just book it on the day. You have to book 2 to 3 months
prior.
To actually make sure you get to go on the day. Because if you try and book while you're over there, you're most likely not going to be able to go.
Oh wow, that's something new. I didn't
We
know.
booked our 2 to 3 months in advance. So basically, we did all our spending here, and then over there we were just
extra money.
It was just for food,
like our
and shopping.
everyday, our everyday stuff.
But everything was paid off before we got there.
Yeah.
Did you go to Tokyo as well? Sorry, I didn't even ask you the sequence of where you landed in. And what was your favorite?
We started into Ueno first.
We went in Bunkyo City first.
Yeah. So that's Ueno, and then we moved up to Ikebukuro.
Yeah.
And then from Ikebukuro, we took a bullet train down to Osaka. And then when we came back, we stayed in Akihabara. Which
majority Tokyo.
Yeah, it's Tokyo.
Yeah.
And did you do the big crossing? Is it the Shibuya crossing?
Yeah, that's where we went in that the JDM tour. The Fast and Furious cars. So when we were going over there, they was just speeding right through.
We did go so we caught the train to Shibuya purposely for the cross, and because we know how busy it is. So when we say we wanted to try everything, we wanted to try everything. We wanted to try getting squished onto the train, people pushing you into the train so you can get fit in. So we got that, and we were all squished in the train, and we all looked at each other and were like, oh my gosh, they pushed us in. They squished us in.
Yeah, Shibuya is crazy.
And then we went out to the crossing, and it was exciting to a point, but it wasn't what we expected. We thought it was like this huge, big crossing, but it's not.
It's not.
Yeah. It's just the crossing.
Was it like crossing Lincoln Road, or was it like crossing Queen Street?
It was, it was probably like
it didn't hit the expectations of what we saw. Like, it looked quite big.
It was probably just a little bit bigger than the bottom of Queen Street.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And they had like the pedestrian crossings, like just going every which way that you can. So there's like 5 different ways that you can go. So it's not just from one side to the other side. You can go like different angles and stuff like that. But they had but it was just smaller than what we thought. We thought it was like this big, huge.
It was exciting because we see it everywhere on everybody's in the movies.
Like, it was definitely something we wanted to tick off our list to go and see, and we saw it. So it was cool.
But I think Shibuya, just being there for the amount of time we did, I to be honest, I actually didn't enjoy as much. I just felt it was too much. I think it's too touristy.
Too many tourists.
Yeah.
I mean, we were tourists. we were the tourists, but it was just too much.
Yeah, the spots that we stayed in, it was not a tourist spot.
It was residential.
And the one that was harder residential was Osaka. When we were walking to our place, the people were looking at us like, what are you doing here?
Like, get out of our area.
There's nothing here. But that was like the best experience. We had like the legit the houses looked normal. There was no 7-Eleven in that on every single corner. I felt like that was our most realistic view of
Japan.
Yeah.
And Osaka.
Well, first we thought we got scammed.
Yeah.
At that Airbnb because we went under a tent to get to the house, and then it looked like a really rundown alleyway kind of neighborhood, and we were like shit. But when we got there,
inside it was flash.
I was like, oh, okay.
All the houses don't look flash from outside,
but inside they're really nice.
Wow. Okay, so what was the selection of food, Grant, for you, knowing that you were in the epicenter of the Japanese residential area? What did you select for your dinner or your food choices?
Because me and my partner, we oversaved. We had too much money to spend, and because the Kobe beef was expensive there, it was like $3,000. It was like $30. Was it $30? $30 for a skewer, and I was just getting 10 of those.
Whoa.
So I was just wasting all my money.
So were you sharing those skewers with everyone in the group?
No.
Yeah, I'll buy one and then I have the
Maybe like a
rest.
little bite, but not actually getting an extra
He'll
skewer.
just tell us where to go get our own.
But it was the Kobe beef. That's where I spent a lot of our money on for food.
One thing we did do is we tried every spot that we could see here. We tried over there. So like the Macca's and the Carl's
KFC.
Jr., the
Carl's
KFC,
KFC.
Domino's.
and it was to literally just look. We don't eat Domino's here, but we're like, oh, let's try their Domino's.
Yeah, the best egg tarts.
Yeah, their fast food over there is really good.
Yeah, like, you know what? Their workers, I think that was probably the biggest impression that we left with, was how their workers are. Like, they are just,
No matter what job, they were just so happy, and they were actually wanting to be there.
And they work well, and they're very, like, their customer service is just so good. Yeah.
So good. When we were staying in Osaka, they were fixing a curb. Like, just fixing a curb in the street that we were in, and they had closed off the street, but they had two guys there in full uniform. Like, their pants were pleated, and they had like and like and they just stood at the end of the streets, directing people, you can't come down here and stuff like that. And so when we left in the morning, they were there. When we came back, they were still standing on that same spot with that same smile and the same hello greeting, which was quite cool. Like, that was. It just makes the trip really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and so hearing that,
I don't think our young ones know.
well, so hearing that, did that impact you three in coming back here and returning that kind of practice into your own workplaces?
Yeah, of course.
It does kind of make you think, like,
just notice it, eh? Like,
you notice it, and then, how do you say it? You just know, just being polite and friendly goes a long way. Then not, I guess.
And then, like, when we see people walking around with their suitcases in the street, you're like, oh my God, that was us. And then we're like, oh, actually, move to the side, let them go.
Yeah.
And it's just those little courtesy things.
I think because of my job, I have a lot of different, like, people that come through. It does make you think what they're going through coming to New Zealand. So you kind of want to be kind of more empathetic, especially when English is not their first language. Because we had to use the Google Translator, but they were really convenient. And I think for me at work, it just made me realize, every time we see someone come and struggle, you want to help them a bit more. So I think just being polite and friendly and just helpful, you kind of come back with it. Because you know what? We came back to New Zealand airport and we're like, damn, customer service is not great.
I think it was another good thing with going with such a big group is that we had that safety in numbers thing. So you had that confidence to go and ask, and you weren't too scared to go and try something new or go do something out of the norm.
They're just really polite. I would say they're very convenient. They're very helpful. You ask a question, they go out of their way. Like, for example, Disneyland, we were worried about trying a ride, and one of the workers actually took us all the way back into the back way into the ride so that we could try sitting in it.
Yeah, they don't.
They have a seat on the side so you can see whether you can fit on the ride before you go
secret, like they don't want
everyone to see you.
They make it so nice that you feel
and they don't do it in front of people. They want to do it away from people because they know it's not nice if you can't fit in something. So I thought that was really cool. Like, they went out of their way to pause the ride at the end so that some of us could check if we could fit the ride.
And you can fit most rides.
You can. Yeah, I will say
Disneyland. Man, we can fit basically every ride.
So we're not the biggest.
Yeah.
But at Disneyland, we all managed to get on all the rides all at the same time, all 11 of us.
Yeah.
Which was probably one of the highlights too, that we could do the rides together
at Disneyland more than Universal. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Is there anything else that you want to kind of say or put out there or share with everyone listening?
Oh, the use of the drugstores in Japan, because we went through phases of being sick, sore muscles, just everything. You can trust the drugstores. They're called drugstores, like instead of, because if you say pharmacies, it's actual medical center or something. But they're so convenient in the drugstores of whatever pain that you're going through,
And they're helpful.
and they're very helpful of what you need. So, and yeah, I'm just saying, if you're feeling sick or anything, go to the drugstore. They help you with all your stuff. I don't know what's in their drugs, but it was pretty good.
Did you have any accidents also, by the way? Did you
No
know?
accidents, but we did have a few people that were pretty sick.
Everyone got sick.
Pretty
Except
sick.
for me. And I didn't share anything.
It was more cramp pain. It was just a lot of, like, if you suffer from like really bad cramp pain and stuff, I ended up getting these I don't know what they're called, vapor straps, and they're stick-ons, and you use them daily. They, like, if I didn't get those on our trip, I think I would be crying, going, I can't do the walking anymore.
Everything is sugary over there. So I am a diabetic. And everything is sweet over there. There's an element of sweet in pretty much anything there.
So be careful.
And then, when you're trying anything and everything, you go a little bit too hard. Sometimes you need to just relax a little bit. So, just be careful of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because the glue, was it the gum? They have this sugar syrup you put in the coffees, but you don't realize how sweet it was. Because I'm diabetic with Jen as well, and I usually don't get so if you eat too much sugar, you break out in rashes. It was the first time I broke out in rashes and realized it's because I had too much of the gum syrup in the coffees, because I don't have sugar, but I just want gum syrup.
That is one thing they don't have there is
good coffee.
Yeah, it's all filtered coffee.
It's, they don't have good coffee. So if I was to take anything, I would take
good coffee.
That's probably it.
Oh, that's good to know.
But there is the one thing that was quite big for me and my partner was the expectation for sushi. If you're not big on fish, I don't think you'll like the sushi over there, because they don't have chicken in their sushi.
Yeah,
or salmon,
and then,
or cream cheese,
or avocado.
Cream cheese, or avocado.
So it's the pieces that you get that are just rice with a piece of fish on top. That's the kind of sushi that they have.
And make sure you ask for no wasabi, because it automatically comes with wasabi on the sushi. Like, hold it together. But you can get it without.
Oh, so they use wasabi like the glue to hold the piece of fish in place?
Yeah, to hold the fish onto the rice. Yeah.
Oh, so that's a lot of wasabi for those who do not, have a lot of wasabi in their sushi. Very, very good.
So you might see the seaweed roll, like how we have here.
But I would say, if you are thinking of going to Japan, do it. That was like the only regret I had about going to Japan was that it was too good of an experience.
Yeah.
Like, because we're planning to go to the States in the year, and I was excited for that. But after we got back from Japan, I just wanted to go back. It's
so
worth
cool.
it. It's such a different culture. It's so relaxing over there.
The convenience of everything.
The convenience of everything there is just crazy as well.
Everything is just so convenient. I think we came home, and I think after we had rested, we had a little bit of withdrawal symptoms. So it took a little while for us to get back into our flow here.
I wouldn't follow a lot of the stuff on TikTok. And
go explore your own.
Yeah, like, it's not as complicated as they make it seem on there. It's a lot less stressful than what they make it out to be.
And it is busy. It is jam-packed full of people. It is chaotic, but it is so organized.
Yeah, it's very organized.
It is so organized that you feel fine, that you don't have to rush onto a train and push yourself in or make your way in. Because everything just flows, and everything is on time, and everything is consistent. So you know what you're getting. You know what, if you miss a train, just wait a couple of minutes, another one is coming.
Yeah, even if you're traveling by yourself, like if you're a female as well, they've got female-only
Carriages?
Yeah.
carriages, so you don't have to worry about things like that.
Oh, wow,
But I
that
wouldn't
sounds
go
cool.
to Shibuya or Shinjuku. Everyone says to go there, but I wouldn't go there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go there.
Oh,
Unless you're looking for the nightlife, like that kind of stuff.
okay. Hey Grant, sorry, did you get stopped by anyone thinking that you were an All Black, or that you were a rugby league famous star, or?
Oh, no. because we were wearing like, well, I was dressed like this, and I had my puffer jacket on, and we were all dressed like this, and we had our shades. So at the start, we were looking very intimidating to the locals. Like we would say hello, but they wouldn't say
Our
hello.
color is black. We only have black.
But the first Polynesian Māori that I saw there was Tohu Harris, the Warriors.
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
expect to see him out of all people for the first person that I'd see from New Zealand.
Like, hey.
But he was the first person.
Oh, wow.
There were islanders over there though, like a little bit of them. But every time you made eye contact with them, it was like, hey, it's one of us.
Yeah.
Hello.
It was a big hello.
It was a big hello. Yeah.
There was a Māori lady in the line at Disney Sea, and I was like, I'm sure she's Māori. I'll just try it. And I just did the little kia ora, and see if she'll come back. Kia ora, and she did. And we did little waves.
Because I had heard that that many of our brown men that are out and about when they're there in Japan, they often get mistaken for famous rugby players or rugby league players. So wondered if that had happened to you, Grant.
Well, I think one of us got a lot of eyes because he's 6 foot. He's 6 foot.
Like 6'3",
Yes. And he just towers over everyone, and he's quite big too.
I think he was more, people were thinking he was a wrestler.
Yeah, I made it worse. He had the long hair,
And the long
and the big toe.
And did you go to any sumo? Wrestling?
We did, but we wanted to, but we didn't make it.
It just wasn't in our areas. So there was quite a few places that we wanted to go to that we couldn't go to because it just wasn't in the areas that we were, and we kind of like, no, we can't just go anywhere and everywhere over there. Let's just focus on the main spots.
Yeah, there's one spot you have to go to if you're into the arcades. It's in Osaka. It's called Round 1. That place was crazy. They have basketball courts, batting cages.
It's like 12 floors.
Yeah, it's 12 floors.
12 floors.
Everything there in the arcade.
Oh, and the 10-yen cheese medallion. There's this medallion cheese thing that's really yummy.
It's like a pancake.
It's like a pancake full of cheese. I swear that's probably like the best thing.
And it's almost like a filled waffle, but in the shape of a 10-cent coin.
Oh, wow.
That was his favorite thing.
Okay, so you're thinking of going back to America. So you're thinking of going to America end of the year? Is that the group trip?
Yeah. We haven't we've confirmed that it's not like fully confirmed yet, but most likely same period, the 29th. And I think it would most likely be the first 5 that went on the Japan trip, and then see who else wants to come.
Yeah.
Which
I
part?
think there's a few things happening at the end of the year for our family, so it just depends.
Yeah, so we're just thinking about it.
Is there a certain part of the US that you were thinking about adventuring to?
Well, the States is my partner's where she wants to go. So she's picking all that spots, but I know she wants to go to New York at Christmas time because she wants the snow. And we want to go to like California. I think Las Vegas is our last stop because I want to have money. I want to go to Las Vegas for the casinos and stuff, like all the big lights, but we'll go there last.
Huge thanks to Jenni, Grant and Grace for sharing all these good stories with us today. And thank you for tuning in and being part of What's in Your Kete. We love having you with us. We'll catch you next time with more stories, more laughs, and more treasures for the Kete. Take care, and we'll see you soon.